today. It's been 90 days since we came to Malvan. It's difficult to believe that the fifth and final phase of lockdown was over. 90 days in Malvan sounds a little difficult to believe in, doesn't it? It's surreal how we came to Malvan on 19th March and instead got stranded here. If someone asks us what this lockdown gave us, we'd probably fall short of words to explain. When Hemant and Saloni realized that we'd have to stay here longer than expected, it was nothing short of a dream come true. The tightly packed camera bags were opened and all equipment was put to the use. A new routine began. Blessed with a wide variety of flowering and fruiting plants, our compound is home to many faunal species. The chirping of birds and sweet rustling of trees were all calling out to Hemant. His dream of living amongst nature and capturing the bittersweet memories on film had finally come true, and he ensured that he didn't waste a single day. He spent long days taking photos of different moods of birds, studying about their behavior, and experimenting with the various components and modes of a camera. For him, the lockdown was a disguised blessing. Just like us, these birds too follow a daily routine. However, their day starts at the crack of dawn at about 4:30 am. The chirping of the red-whiskered and red-vented bulbuls, along with magpie robin, is a wake-up call for the other residents of our compound. As the sun rises over the horizon, pairs of greater cockle scout the area in search of food. The Asian coyotes too wake up groggily and start preening. The loud screeching of the white-throated kingfisher is an alarm call for the ones who wake up later than the others. The purple-rumped and bigger sunbirds fly around in search of a water source where they can complete their morning bathing ritual. The overflowing water tank is a boon for these little birds. The common ayora and the Indian yellow-tit too join the symphony of music around just as the sun approaches the 12 o'clock mark. The harsh midday sun witnesses the toughest birds soaring high up in the sky. Black kites, Brahmini kites, and white-bellied sea eagles are common visitors. As the chirping of the other birds winds down, the white-cheeked barbets start their own musical show. Undisturbed by their notes are Tickle's blue flycatchers who are more focused on hunting. The Indian pitta too turns leaves in search of a quick snack. Watching these birds from afar are coppersmith barbets and black-hooded orioles. Our resident scarlet minuet, however, has more important things on his mind as he comes every day on our windowsill to fight with his reflection. As the sun slowly sets in the west, green bee-eaters hunt for patches of soft sand to dust bathe and feed. They're soon joined by a small group of white-rumped munia. The chestnut-headed bee-eaters prefer to catch unsuspecting bees and butterflies. The familiar tock-tock announces the arrival of the lesser golden-back pair. This sound is short-lived due to the harsh calls of Malabar pied hornbill. Their less noisy cousins, Indian grey hornbills, fly around to survey the compound. A group of Asian open-bills take to the sky as they start returning to their nests. This bustling day ends with the loud "Kuwa! Kuwa!" of the white-breasted water hen as she returns to her usual sleeping spot. When we came to Malvan in March, the red silk cotton tree was blooming. The bright red nectar-filled flowers attracted insects and birds from far and wide. The ashy drongo and rufous tree pie were regular visitors during this period. As seasons changed, Asian paradise flycatchers, white-throated and white-spotted fantails all vanished in thin air. As the sky filled with pitch-black clouds, our compound was now home to cuckoos and their chirpy tunes filled the air. Other than our usual resident birds, we witnessed some uncommon visitors too. Jacobin cuckoo, grey-bellied cuckoo, blue-faced malkoha, Indian scops owl, rufous woodpecker, and black-headed cuckoo shrike being a few to name. We realized that our small 3-acre compound was home to 70+ bird species, a true birding paradise. Just as Hemant was deeply engrossed in studying the birds, Saloni's story was no different either. Except her focus was on the smaller critters found in our natural world. How she manages to spot these well camouflaged insects is still a mystery to me. Her finds in the spider family include huntsman spiders, crab spiders, wolf spiders, lynx spiders, jumping spiders, and ant mimicking spiders. This extended stay meant Saloni now had more time to spend outdoors, and she made full use of this opportunity. Some of her personal favorites were members of the mantis family. Extremely difficult to spot because of their well camouflaged skills, she succeeded in spotting the Asian great mantis, praying mantis, bark mantis, and violin mantis. The violin mantis mimics a branch swaying on the wind so as to escape predators. As time passed and monsoon inched closer, these little soldiers took shelter under leaves and out came the herbs. Amongst the happily singing frogs were Indian tree frogs, bullfrogs, and fungoid frogs. Where there is prey, there is always a predator. Thanks to the mongoose pair that lives in our compound, we rarely stumble upon snakes, and they're more of occasional visitors. Yet Saloni's spotting skills resulted in her spotting the venomous Russell's viper and non-venomous common sand boa and buff striped keelback. Our compound also hosts a variety of other reptile species, which include garden lizards and the uncommonly spotted Bombay leaf-toe gecko. After doing this all day, Saloni's night safari would begin post-dusk. The night safari was to watch the movements and study the behavior of Asian palm civets who would drop by to feast on the sweet, ripe cashew nut fruits. As the lockdown conditions in Malvan eased down a bit, Hemant ventured out on a boat ride in a creek near Tarkarli and also explored Fox Island. Surprisingly, he got to witness a raft of smooth-coated otters on the creek and also spotted golden jackals and a number of Indian flying foxes on the island. With these beautiful lockdown memories held close to our hearts, we've now left for Mumbai. Never in our wildest dreams did we imagine that this lockdown would be such a blessing.